Hello, I hope you're doing well. I am Milad Kambari, and welcome to the introduction of another plugin from the Substance Painter plugin collection. In this tutorial, I want to introduce the Substance Painter Toolkit plugin to you. This is a plugin that gives us many tools that either do not exist in Substance Painter, or if they do exist, they are incomplete and not what we want. This plugin comes to help us make our work easier and faster. Well, as usual, to activate the plugin, after we have placed our plugin file inside the main plugin folder, meaning we placed it in our plugins folder, make sure to hit the reload option so it shows it to you in this menu. Now, I click on SP Toolkit. When the page opens for us, it shows us 7 tools. The first tool is the reference panel. I make a click and its panel opens for us here on the side. You can bring images for yourself into Substance Painter and work on the image as a reference image. Normally, this possibility did not exist in Substance Painter, meaning when you wanted to have an image beside you as a reference image, you either had to make your Substance Painter window smaller, or you had to have 2 monitors. But here, with this tool, you can now take whatever image you have. For example, I have an image on my desktop here. I bring this image, I can place it here as a source image or any other image. We can start working based on that image as our reference image. This image also has a color pick capability, and you can pick the color from it too. In this way, you can easily detect the color, and Substance Painter can detect it and sets the color for us. Well, that's it for the first tool. Let's go to the second tool. I have applied materials to the model I placed here halfway, just so I can show you the tools. Well, just let me tell you this point too. Every image you bring is added as a tab up here. Let me bring another image too. For example, when I bring this second image, this image was added as a tab up here. Okay, that's that. Let's go to the second tool, Layer Transfer. I can delete this. The Layer Transfer tool gives us the possibility to transfer our materials from one texture set to another texture set. Normally, Substance Painter itself does not have this feature. Through various methods, we must try to bypass this lack of feature and find a way for it. But here, we can very easily transfer our materials from one texture set to another texture set. It is enough here to introduce our source texture set. For example, I say texture set 1-201. I say scan the source texture set. I hit the button and it scans. This is my source texture set. Now it says I found these for you. Which one should I transfer for you? I say only transfer the smart material for me. So I select the smart material, and when I hit transfer selected, yes. And here, the smart material was transferred for me to the second texture set. Look here. In the second texture set, the exact same smart material is placed for us. We go to Toolkit and Resolution Manager. What is the Resolution Manager's job? Its job is that we can define the resolution for all our texture sets instantly. Normally, we had to come and define them one by one, but here you can take all of them together. For example, say all of them together should be 1024. So I hit apply and all of them together become 1024. Or we say no, just for example, these 3. This one, and these 3, let these become 4K. Here I select 4K and hit apply selected. When I hit apply selected, it makes only these 3 4K for me. Well, that's that. We wait a few moments until this is finished as well. At the same time, I can open the toolkit and show you the next one, Project Cleaner. What is the Project Cleaner's job? If a layer has not been used, if a group has not been used, if there is something in your scene that has not been used, it cleans it for you. For example, here I hit Scan Project. When I hit Scan Project, it shows me here and says that in this project scan you performed only in layer number in our texture set 1. See here, it has put the texture set name. In our texture set 1, we have a layer, actually an empty group. Let's see if it actually exists. I select texture set 1. Yes, here it is. This empty group exists. It says an empty group exists. So when I hit clean selected, this empty group will be deleted for us. Now, any other thing, if you have a source that is off and you haven't used it, or a group that you haven't used, it deletes it for us in this way. Overall, it gives me a much cleaner layering. Let's go to the next one, Auto Backup. Substance Painter by default has Auto Backup itself, but the problem is here that these backups it takes are overwritten on itself, meaning those backups it takes for us are saved on itself. In this auto backup, you can first of all define to take a backup every few minutes. For example, you can tell it to take one every 1 minute or every 5 minutes. Then you can define for it how many backups it should take for us. It takes 10 backups for us. Where does it save them? Beside the file, that same Substance Painter file we saved. Here, for example, I set it to 1 and hit the Start Auto Backup button. It is no longer mandatory for this auto backup page to be open. You can actually close this page. The auto backup will perform itself, meaning in the background, the auto backup is being performed for you, and it places the file beside our main Substance Painter file. We wait a few moments until the saves are performed so I can show you. Well, here the saves were performed, and we are seeing that it placed 2 saves for us. Now, let me also show you where it has placed these saves. First of all, you can select whichever of these saves you want and hit Open Selected Backup. Well, let me show you the results here too. See here? It has taken 3 backups beside our main Substance Painter file. You can also define a backup path yourself wherever you want it to save for you. Well, I hit Toolkit and go to Layer Search Filter. When I hit Layer Search Filter, let me close this backup window. That backup is performing its job by itself. We can search for the layer we want. For example, I say I want a layer named Dirt. I'm looking for this layer. It shows us itself and says you have the Dirt layer in 3 of the texture sets. Which one do you want? For example, I say I want this Dirt layer from the first texture set. When I hit Select SP, it jumps here onto that Dirt layer and shows us the layer. In fact, it completely shows us, tells us where this dirt layer is, and even tells us its type. And we can even turn it on or off if we want to turn off all the dirt layers we have. In this way, I can select all of them and turn them off. It is no longer necessary to search through the layers one by one looking for that layer you have in mind. Let's go to the last option, the Texture Set Note option. You can define a text for each of your notes. For example, let me delete these. You can write a text note for each of your texture sets. For example, you are working as a team, or you want to write a text for yourself. We say we select this and write the text here. For example, you write test 0 blah blah test like this. Or for example, we say done, edit it. Then you hit Set Note. This will now be saved for us on our second texture set. And this is, for instance, when we are doing teamwork and doing a task where another person is working on this project simultaneously. Or if we want to leave notes for ourselves, we can put this note on our texture set this way. Whenever we open this texture set note, it shows all of them to us. Well, while I was teaching, see that the number of backups also increased, meaning even though I closed the backup window, the backups are increasing. The plugin activates as auto run, meaning when you open your Substance Painter, the plugin runs as auto run. And even if you close your Toolkit window, from now on, the plugin will perform the auto backup task for you by itself, in the path you defined for it. That is it for this tutorial, or actually this introduction. I hope this tool is attractive and practical for you.